Right. So Money Madness is a poem that is written by D.H. Lawrence, one of the famous novelists in world literature. In English literature, he belongs to the 20th century English literature, because D.H. Lawrence was born, though he was born in 1885, he was there on the earth up to 1930. So before he died in 1930, he has written this poem in 1929, just 1 year before he left this earth. So in the title of this poem, there are two very important words. One word is money. So what do we get in front of us when we read the word money? Money is everything for we people nowadays, at least in 21st century. The things have not changed. D.H. Lawrence has used these two words with each other, money and madness. In the title of the poem itself, D.H. Lawrence has used alliteration. Alliteration, repetition of the initial sounds of the words in a line. So in the title itself, the sound m has been repeated, which gives a kind of literary quality to the title of the poem itself, Money Madness. So what is Money Madness? Money madness is a kind of collective feeling in the mind of people in any country, in any century, isn't it? This poem was written in 1929. So D.H. Lawrence might have observed people in England who are mad after money, people who want to get money by any means. People want to earn money. They don't want to give money to anybody. They are afraid if they don't have money. Therefore, they are so mad after money that they want to get money by hook or by crook, by any means. No, by any immoral means also people are ready to get money. So people are mad after money. So people were mad after money before near about 100 years, 90 years near about, isn't it? Because the poem was written in 1929. So before 90 years also the situation was same, and after 90 years, that is in 2020, no, 2 decades of 20th century we have already passed. So the things have become worst. No, people are being more and more mad after money. So what D.H. Lawrence does here in this poem is that he wants to tell readers that, we are being materialistic. We are being mad for money. People are giving, undue importance to money. Money is one of the things. Money is not everything, no. Money is not everything in our life. But if you observe people around you, or if you think about yourself and what your thoughts about money are, you will realize that we are thinking money as everything in our life. There is nothing precious, there is nothing valuable than money in our life. Because we have a misunderstanding, we have a misconception that we can get everything in the world if we have money. But this is not at all true. We cannot get everything in the world if we have money. There are so many things which are beyond money. There are so many things which we cannot buy with money. So by saying this, D.H. Lawrence is, not, giving less importance to money, or he is not saying that money is not important. Okay, money is one of the things. Money is important, but to certain extent, to certain limits, money is important. As all other things like relations also are important in our life, isn't it? Sympathy towards people also is important. Money is not the only thing that is important. No? So how people are being mad after money, how people want to get money, and what are the feelings that might arise in the mind of people when they think that they don't have money. No? So D.H. Lawrence is a poet. Basically, he's a novelist, as I have told you, because he has written a number of novels, which were, adapted to be movies also. Uh, Money Madness is one of the famous poems that he has written, isn't it? In which he criticizes common people who are mad after money. So it is a kind of satire, we can say. Satire, moral kind of preaching he wants to give to his readers. He wants to persuade his readers. He wants to tell his readers that money is not everything. So we are not expected to be mad after money, right? So let us see the poem line by line. We'll try to analyze the poem line by line, right? So let us start with the first line. Money is our madness, our vast collective madness. So in the beginning of the poem, D.H. Lawrence makes a bold statement. He says money is our madness. So when he uses the word our, he is not excluding himself. He is including himself also with all of us. He doesn't say that money is your madness. So he also is a human being and he knows that he also belongs to the same community. So he does not exclude, he includes himself in the community. He says money is our madness, our vast collective madness. So there is no exception. All people in the world, all people in the society are mad after money. Therefore, he says that it's a collective madness. Collective madness, madness of the society, madness of the masses, madness of the common people, right? So that is collective madness. So every person in the society is mad after money. And of course, if the multitude is mad, the individual carries his own grain of insanity around with him. And he says, if multitude is mad, if masses in the society, if large number of people in the society are mad after the money, then we have a kind of mob mentality. Do you know something about mob mentality? Mob mentality is something like, if people are going in one direction, if 10 people are going in one direction, another 10 people follow them, isn't it? That is mob mentality. They don't know why they are following them. They don't exactly know what is there in that direction. But if 10 people are going there in that direction, the remaining 10 people think that there must be something at that direction. Therefore, some people are going there. So it becomes a crowd in that direction. People don't think why we are going there. So same thing is happening regarding money. So multitude is being mad. A large number of people in the society are being mad after money. And he says, of course, if large number of people in the society are mad, if the multitude is mad, the individual carries his own grain of insanity around him. And individual also gets, affected by the collective madness. So he becomes insane. Insanity again is madness. So he has his own madness. Individual person has his own madness around him. He has his own thoughts regarding money around him, because individual is always impressed or affected by the society. I doubt if any man living hands out a proud note without a pang. No, he thinks about the people and their a kind of way of thinking while giving away the money, right? Just a minute. Okay. So he says, I doubt if any man living hands out a pound note without a pang, without a pain in his mind. So he says that a person, if he has to give a £1 note money to somebody, he is not happy at all while giving money. There is a pang in his mind. Pang means pain. There is a pain in his mind. He is sad while giving away, handing out the money to somebody. He says, I doubt. No? When he says that I doubt if any man living on this earth hands out a pound note without a pang. So he is sure that while a person gives away money to somebody, he or she is not at all happy, because he or she does not want to give away money. But if there is no alternative, there is a kind of pain in his mind that I am giving away the money. He is not at all happy while giving away money to somebody. And a real tremor if he hands out a 10-pound note. So if he is handing a few amount of money to somebody, a pound note, he is unhappy. But a real tremor, no, real tremor is real shock. So somebody gets shocked if he is compelled to give a large amount of money to somebody, 10-pound note for that matter. No, so giving away money is not a happy thing, he says. Giving away money, giving money to somebody in order to fulfill somebody's needs, no, it's a kind of, unhappy task. It's a task that is against the will of a person. Therefore, the person does not become happy, he says. We quell. Money makes us quell. No, he says quell. Quell simply means we are afraid, we are frightened. Why we are frightened? Because money is making us behave so. Money makes us be afraid. Money makes us frightened. Right? It has got us down. We grovel before it in strange terror. No? So it has got us down, isn't it? It is ruling. Money is ruling on our mind. It is ruling over the minds of a large number of people in society. And therefore, we grovel before it in strange terror. Grovel is surrender. So we surrender in front of money. Why we surrender? Because we are in a strange terror when the thought of money comes in our mind. Especially when the thought of losing money comes in our mind, we are in strange terror. We are afraid. We don't know why we are afraid. The fear that we feel is strange. No, it is not a normal fear when the thought of money comes in our mind, isn't it? So money makes us afraid. Money makes us frightened also, isn't it? So if you take example of a person who is a millionaire, and if you compare a millionaire with a beggar, can you find some differences related to fear? A beggar who does not have a single penny, single rupee in his pocket can sleep anywhere besides the road on the platform. He is not afraid of anything. But if a millionaire is there, can a millionaire sleep besides a road? A millionaire cannot sleep properly within his own house. And that house even is locked. There is a watchman in front of the gate. But still, the millionaire cannot get a sound sleep in his bedroom. With all the luxuries, he cannot sleep properly. Why does it happen? Because there is a fear in his mind, fear of losing money. There is a fear in the mind of a millionaire that somebody might rob me, somebody might rob my money. No, thieves may come, robbers may come, or I may get, loss in my business, so I will lose money. So all these kinds of fears are there in the mind of a millionaire. But if a person like beggar who doesn't have money, he doesn't have that fear because he doesn't have money. So money is making us afraid, and that strange terror is there in my mind, in our mind, because of money. And no wonder, for money has a fearful, cruel power among men. And therefore he says, ki, I don't have any doubt. There is no wonder that money has a fearful, cruel power among men. Money creates this power, which is a fearful and cruel power in our mind, that we feel, these kinds of thought come usually in the mind of people, that we think about the money which other people have, and if it comes to earning money, we don't think of fair means, no, because money creates a fearful, cruel power among men. Once again, take example of thieves, robbers who rob others' money. Take example of corrupt people in our society, in our system. Corrupt people in our system are like thieves because they rob money of other people. Why? Because money creates a cruel power in the mind of people, so that they get attracted towards the money of other people. They don't earn money by taking efforts. They don't earn money with their hard work, but they want to seize away, they want to snatch away money earned by other people taking hard work, or taking efforts, or doing hard work, isn't it? So it is money only which compels thieves or robbers to rob money of other persons. Even people are not afraid of killing somebody in order to get money, isn't it? People kill, a person might kill another person for certain amount of money. So why it is happening? It is happening due to money. Money is, creating this fearful, cruel power in mind of people, that people are ready to do anything in order to get money, isn't it? But it is not money we are so terrified of. No? D.H. Lawrence says that it is not only money that we are terrified of. It is not only money that we are afraid of. There are the things that are associated with money. It is not only money, because we cannot eat money, isn't it? It is not only money that we are afraid of. There are things that are associated, that are related to money, which make us afraid. So what are those things? It is the collective money madness of mankind that we are terrified of. No, it is not only money, it is the madness for money. It is not money. Madness is a psychological disorder, isn't it? Which is there in our mind. It is a kind of obsession for money, for which we are afraid of, isn't it? Obsession is a feeling, which does not make us satisfied. We are not satisfied if we get 1 lakh or 1 crore rupees. If a person get 1 crore rupees, still he is not satisfied, because he wants 10 crore rupees. If he gets 10 crore rupees, still he is not satisfied, because he is obsessed with money. He is obsessed for that. If he gets 10 crore, he feels that now I want 20 crore rupees. So he is not satisfied at all. No, this madness which is there in our mind makes us terrified. So it is a collective madness of mankind. No? So this madness is of mankind. It is not, related to any individual only. For mankind says with one voice, how much is he worth? So how do we evaluate people in our society? Because mankind says with one voice, each and every person in the society has the same thought when he or she looks at the person in front of him. How much is he worth? When we want to establish relations, we see the worth of that person, isn't it? We don't see the qualities of that person. We don't see the morality of that person. We don't see the virtues of that person. How do we evaluate any person in front of us? We see the worth, we see the value, we see how much money this person has, we see whether the person is rich or not, If the person is rich, then we praise him, we give value to him, we recognize him, isn't it? And if the person is not rich, if it is a poor person, what happens? We go away from that person. So that is a kind of way we evaluate people in the society. And this is also a quality of mankind. We evaluate people by their worth and not by their good qualities, or not by their moral qualities, morality, and all those things. So money is important when we evaluate people in front of them. And this happens when we establish relationships also. In order to establish relations, it is seen how much bank balance the person has, isn't it? So if he has no money, then let him eat dirt and go cold, isn't it? These are the kinds of thoughts that come in our mind. If a person does not have any money with him, then let him eat dirt. Then don't pay attention to him. Let him eat whatever he wants to eat. Let him eat dirt. Dirt in the sense, whatever that is available. And go cold. Going cold is let him die. Let him die if he doesn't have money. If he is rich, then you will pay attention to him, isn't it? So rich people are always respected. Poor people are not respected. Why they are not respected? Because they don't have money. Why this happens? Because people are mad after money, isn't it? And if I have no money, they will give me a little bread so I do not die. So this is a fear in our mind. What will happen if I don't have money? This fear is there in our mind, and therefore we are mad after money. If I have no money, they will give me a little bread. No, people will give me. I have to beg for my food if I don't have money. This thought comes in our mind. No, therefore we want to earn money in our life, so I do not die. So they will keep me alive. Okay, they will keep me alive. They will keep me a little few amount of food. They will give me so that I am not dead, but they will make me eat dirt with it, isn't it? So they will make, they means society, people in the society make me eat whatever is available, stale food, dirt, left out food. Dirt especially means soil, but here it means left out food or whatever that is available. I will not get proper food to eat, isn't it? I shall have to eat dirt. I shall have to eat dirt. See, repetition of the same line is there. Repetition, why repetition is one of the devices that is used in poems to emphasize that this is the fear in our mind, that I'll have to eat anything that is available. I'll have to eat anything that is given by other people who have money. No? So I shall have to eat dirt if I have no money, and therefore I should have money. Therefore I have to earn money by any means. It is that I am frightened of. No? So it is that thing that I shall have to eat dirt, and therefore I am afraid. This fear in is my mind that if I don't have money, I will not have proper food even to eat, right? And that fear can become a delirium, and this fear becomes a delirium. Delirium is a psychological state which makes people excited, no? Excited to the extent that the person may become mm, mad also. In Marathi we call it as unmad, state of unmad is a state of excitement beyond limits, right? A kind of frenzy which is called. So this fear can become a psychological disorder which is called as madness or frenzy. It is fear of my money mad fellow men. No, So he says that this is the fear of my fellow men. Fellow men, people like me, my friends, my colleagues, people in the society, that they are mad after money. We must have some money to save us from eating dirt. So how much money we should have? We must have some amount of money so that we can lead a respectful life, so that we can have our daily needs of food and shelter and everything fulfilled. So we should have that amount of money which is sufficient to fulfill our needs, isn't it? Which saves us from eating dirt simply means that which gives us good food to eat. So he says some money, that is some amount of money, and this is all wrong. No? So everything that is happening in the world, people are running after money, people are robbing other people for money, people are killing other people for money, and he says this is all wrong, this is not at all good. So he gives a kind of solution. No? What solution D.H. Lawrence gives? Bread should be free. So bread represents food. So food should be free to each and every person in the world. So this kind of system should be developed, he says, that each and every person who is living on this earth should get food free of cost. He should not have to pay for food, and then he will not be mad after money. Shelter should be free. Fire should be free. So these are the three things: bread, shelter, and fire, for which people want to earn money. Bread represents food. We want to earn money because we want to eat good food. We want to earn money because we want nice shelter. We want nice home of our own. We want a big home with all the luxuries in the home. Therefore, we want money. But he says that homes also should be provided free of cost by the system. And fire. Fire here represents death also. Fire, represents death also here, should be free to all and anybody in the world, to all and anybody. No? Once again, repetition of all and anybody. So there should not be any person in the world who has to pay for food, who has to pay for shelter, that is home. So it should be free for all the world, all the people all over the world, is what D.H. Lawrence says. We must regain our sanity about money, he says. We must regain our sanity about money. That is, we should not be mad after money. We have to behave like sane people. Sane people is wise people. So wisdom about money should be regained, should be obtained once again. These people have to think wisely when it comes to earning money before we start killing one another about it. So we have to think wisely before we kill somebody for money. So what D.H. Lawrence wants to tell common people in the world, that we don't have to kill anybody for getting money. And the reason that he gives as a last line of the poem is that it's one thing or the other. So it's one thing or the other in our life. Money is one thing or the other. That is, money is like everything, like anything in our life. So money is not the only thing in our life. It is like any other thing in our life. It is not the only thing, isn't it? So money is not the only thing that is important in our life. So indirectly he wants to suggest that there are so many things in our life that are more important than money in our life. If we want to be a good human being, if we want to lead happy and successful life, there are some other things in our life which are more important than money. Money also is important, but there are some other things which are more important than money. So those things can be love, sympathy, relations, because most of the times relations are broken due to money matters, isn't it? Money breaks relations also, isn't it? So relations are there which are more important than money. Fellow feeling is there, love is there, which is more important than money. Sympathy is there, which is more important than money, right? But we don't think about it. We are mad after money. No? So D.H. Lawrence wants to tell we people as a moral of this particular poem that money is not the only important thing in our life. That's it. So got it? The central idea of the poem? आलं लक्षात थोडंफार तरी? थोडं मराठीत सांगायला पाहिजे काय? मराठीत सांगायची गरज आहे? कमेंट बॉक्स मध्ये लिहा येस ऑर नो. ओके. अजून बर आपण मेजॉरिटी कुणीकडे जाते बघू, इंग्लिश कडे जाते का मराठीकडे जाते? मला पण मराठी शिकून घ्यावं लागेल थोडस. म्हणजे मराठी बोलणं वेगळं आणि मराठीमध्ये इंग्लिश पोएम समजावून सांगणं वेगळं आहे की नाही? ओके. येस येस येस. कसं रे, जरा येसच जास्त दिसत आहेत मला तर. ठीक आहे, आपण काय करूया, नेक्स्ट लेक्चर मध्ये थोडस या पोएमची समरी मी मराठीमध्ये सांगेन तुम्हाला, कारण आता आपला वेळ संपत आलाय, झूमचा पण आणि आपल्या लेक्चरचा पण. पुढच्या पोएम लेक्चर मध्ये याचं थोडीशी समरी मी तुम्हाला मराठीमध्ये सांगेन. ठीक आहे? सोपी आहे पोएम, तुम्ही एकदा वाचा ना, तुम्ही वाचा पण थोडस समजून घ्यायचा प्रयत्न करा पोएम, है ना? फार म्हणजे एकदम कॉमन गोष्टी सांगितलेल्या आहेत त्यांनी, की पैशाच्या पाठीमागे माणूस कसा मॅड झालाय. मॅड म्हणजे वेडा, म्हणजे वेडा या अर्थानं की माणूस पैशासाठी काही करू शकतो ना. म्हणजे पैशासाठी सुपारी घेतात लोक, माहितीये ना, सुपारी छोटी